Welcome to another video, and this continues my look at new releases here in 2025, and we're going to dip into new albums that were released last June. It's only a few months back. I tell you, there's quite a few, and I've selected a handful that I think you should check out. So let's get on to the first one. Right, my first selection is Walk This Road by the Doobie Brothers. Yeah, nostalgia is ringing through these songs, and it's an impressive, mature rock album. It's the 10th album, it's the 16th album, and Michael McDonald returns and joins co-founders Tom Johnson and Patrick Simmons, and guitarist John McPhee, who's been on and off with them since 1980. This is probably the most satisfying album since those late 70s gems like The Captain and Me. Anyway, the opener is rich in power and rhythm, and the class continues throughout. Listen to McDonald on Learn to Let Go and Spin of Pain, and you'll realize that this is really good, solid rock music from the southern states. Terrific stuff. June also heralded the return of the Brit pop outfit Pulp. Remember them from the mid 90s? This is their first new record in 24 years. 8th album in total, but you feel like it could have been released right at the back end of the 90s. It's unmistakable Pulp, cinematic, melodic, confessional, horny, and smarter than it has any right to be. It's a wry smile with a quiet tremble, and 60-year-old Jarvis Cocker kicks off the party with Spike Island. It's grown-ups that are punchy and classy. Cocker tells the story. A Wurlitzer plus light strings slip into the full sound. Interplanetary travel and losing your memory en route to the next planet. The lyrics knit singing and spoken word into a story about, well, I'll tell you when I do a deep dive of this album. It's absolutely 5-star. Third offering then for these new releases is an album by King Gizzard and the Lizard Queen. Is it? The Lizard Queen? Anyway, it's called Phantom Island. These guys are from Australia, of course, and they are very high on content, prolific with their output, and I've slowly been warming to this band. I thought they were a bit of a gimmick to start with, but they actually deliver some really solid sort of music, and of course variety is very much their middle name. This one has a feeling of a rock musical, said one critic, and the opener starts with strings and horns and ends up in a jazz cacophony. The second track has a brisk guitar with more punchy horns, and Chicago came to mind. Overall, it's very, very palatable, this album, and one that I'll get back to on a regular basis. They're talented, these guys. Get to listen to them. The next album that I want to briefly comment on is the new album by Van Morrison. It's called Remembering Now, and although we've been swamped by an abundance of content over the last 5 years from the guy from Belfast, this latest release is a notch up or two from those in terms of quality songs. There ain't no politics to get swallowed up into. He's ditched that, and it's back to the soul of the music. He revels in the brands of Irish R&B, Celtic, blues, country soul and balladry that made him such a renowned artist. I love this man, and whenever I feel a little bit down in the dumps, I'll put some of Van Morrison on. This album, some sort of recollections of 79 Into the Music and 91's Hymn to the Silence. That's what I've noted here. The opener, Down to Joy, was also featured in director Kenneth Branagh's 2021 film Belfast. It's a swinging Celtic soul jam to it, and it offers punchy, elegant horns, chunky staccato guitars, and a whining pedal steel above a shuffling beat. The second track recalls Brown Eyed Girl a little bit. If you like Van, you'll wallow in this. Great album, get to listen to it. Next one I want to briefly talk about is an album by Neil Young. It's called Talking to the Trees. He is also a very prolific artist, and on many of the recent albums I've really found a bit of a challenge, really. Anyway, he's got a new band here. It's called the Chrome Hearts, and this album also includes veteran session musician Spooner Oldham, and who also gets involved in the songwriting. He's been working with Young on and off since Comes a Time, which came out in '78. It's very much country rock. There's bits of harmonica that shine through, mixed with the occasional grunge rock song. Not a great fan of this, really, but if you're a Young fan, you'll love it. A couple of quickies here. Different Talking by Frankie Cosmos. This is an indie pop album. All songs are less than 3 minutes, and to be honest, 3 minutes is enough as far as I'm concerned. But nevertheless, she's got a market. Alongside that is an album by Adrian Quezada called Boleros Psicodelicos. It's a contemporary Latin album, and it's top class if you're into Latin sounds. Listen to the guitar on Primos, and the guest female vocals are breathtaking. Check it out. Adrian Quezada. Just a few more to go on this video. Next one is track 22, The Lost Songs, and it's by my old buddy Bruce Springsteen. These tracks were first considered back in the late 80s when he had that contractual problem, and they also filtered into the 90s. This is a huge collection of songs that didn't make the albums. It's got 5 discs, and I have to confess I haven't really got through all of them, but we can consider that at least they enable some more music to come out of the playing of the organ with lost members Danny Federici, and of course Clarence Clemens on sax is also heard, and so that in itself is probably worth a listen. It's actually a sequel to the 1998 album, which was just called Tracks. So worth a listen if you've got a lot of time on your hands. Okay, Out of Sight. This is an album by Guy Blackman, who's an Aussie. It's an indie rock artist. His first album in 17 years, and many tracks add strings to the arrangement, and the vocals are in the same bag, I felt, as Joe Cocker. Also reminds me of those great bands from down under in the 90s, the Triffics, Go-Betweens, etc. Worth checking out. Guy Blackman, Out of Sight. And the last one on this short video is an album by a band called The Bug Club. I don't know this, but it's titled Very Human Features. It's an artsy indie rock type of music. It's centered around cheeky songwriting and subtle experimentations. Very much post-punk, I thought. A bit of Stranglers maybe thrown in. Not an album I think I'm going to come back to, but this month has been really great. So for those of you who are still cynical about new records, new music, I suggest you dip into some of these. You'll be pleasantly surprised.